Well, welcome everyone to Resource Roundtable. Resource Roundtable is an ongoing event every third Thursday of the month, hosted by EDC Team Jefferson. And it's a place where we invite one or more guests to come and introduce themselves and their services to the people of Jefferson County. SharonAnn is from Sequim, and she's working in both Clallam and Jefferson counties. In Jefferson County, she's housed at the EDC, Economic Development Council, 2 days a week on Mondays and Thursdays. So you can call us here and we can set up an appointment for you with Sharon if you'd like. So today, Sharon's going to be addressing the marketing dance, why you need to be on the lookout. We know there's some stuff coming up this summer here in terms of road construction in Jefferson County, for example. Sharon's going to talk with us about ways we can plan in advance for known disruptions using marketing. So Sharon, with no further ado, please let us know what you think.
Thank you, Cindy. Okay. Thank you for coming and for spending some time with us. It's so important when things go haywire, and I'm not talking about just the world panic in pandemic, but also I'm concerned about your businesses because of construction. And construction is been slated for the next 3 to 5 years. It gives us a big problem to deal with, but also a huge opportunity. So I call this the marketing dance because it is a problem, but it's also an opportunity. I want to talk today why you need to be on the lookout and some things you can do proactively in order to help your business grow despite what is happening in the world around us. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand or put them in the chat, and Miko is going to field them in at the right time. And she will put some links in the chat so that you can follow along and trace information to the source.
Also, Sharon, if you're okay, I wanted to say to all the business owners here, feel free to share your name, your business in the chat so we know who's here and who we're talking to. And if we want to stay in contact, feel free to include your email address as well.
Please do that. And at the end, if you do put your email address in, we'll be happy to send you out the slide deck so you have all of the information at hand. Now, the Small Business Development Center was started in 1980, sponsored and paid for by the Small Business Administration. And there are 63 programs across the country. There's one Small Business Development Center advisor for Jefferson and Clallam counties, that would be me. And we offer no-cost business advising services on a range of subjects, anything you can really even think about. You can knock on the door and ask us questions. I'm not saying that we know all the answers to all the questions, but we certainly have resources that we can hunt on your behalf. There are over 40 small business advisors in the state, and I call this it's my human library. So all of us come from a wide range of backgrounds, and we have an immense network of information that we use to help each other. We have a communication device in between us called intranet, and we post quite often any questions that we have concerning client issues that we can help out with. So if one of us doesn't know where the information is, someone in our group will. My background is I've owned my own financial planning practice with American Express companies for more than 20 years. I've co-owned a construction business, residential real estate, co-owned a mini storage. I was the owner-operator of a 168 RV travel park in a rural area in San Diego County. I built the largest outdoor labyrinth in California, and you can actually even see it from Google Earth today. I lived in Africa for 4 years. I speak French and conversational Spanish. I have a few degrees and I love to learn. Not done yet. And thank you, EDC Team Jefferson, for being here, for being a part of the community, and for helping us grow and develop to be the best that we can be. Here's the problem. WSDOT, Washington State Department of Transportation, is going to push out about 5 years of road works in our 2 counties. So if you are a tourist coming into this area, and most of us have businesses that have a livelihood that depends on tourism, what are you going to do when the roads are narrowed down or shifted during times when you depend on tourist traffic to bring a livelihood that will carry you over to the next season? If these construction projects are going to last 3 to 5 years, it could impact your business on a negative way for 3 to 5 years. And that's the problem that we have to look at. Here's the facts. In 2023, and I'll move my cursor around slowly because it's hard to follow a little bit. So you see the 5 over here. Nod your head if you can see that 5, where I'm pointing to. Okay, so now I lost it. Okay, here it is, 5. Most of our business in Clallam and Jefferson is coming from the population of Seattle. Some of them move in from all over the country during the summer, but it's primarily from the population of Seattle. They're going to be crossing the Hood Canal Bridge, and in its infinite wisdom of planning, they've decided to close the Hood Canal Bridge the last week of July, and the last weekend of July, and the first 3 weekends in August. So how are we going to deal with this? How are we going to make money if those weekends of summer are closed? Anybody can think of an answer? That's what we're talking about today. So along with fixing culverts, you see all the green fish signs here in these. There's a 4 here and a 2 and a 3. These are fish habitat rehabilitation. So they're going to be taking the culverts out and digging out from underneath the roads and shifting, giving you detours to run around. And all the traffic coming, there are not very many roads between here and Seattle. Each one of these round dots is going to be a roundabout. And during the roundabout, they're also going to divert traffic around things. This information is found on the WSDOT website, and we'll put a link in there so you can follow up on it. But it tells you about which year things will be happening. The big one that we're concerned about in Port Townsend is right out here, right outside of the EDC office, practically close. The light closest to town from the Safeway gas station. So they'll be diverting traffic around some buildings, some stores and businesses that are in the middle of that is going to make it challenging for people who want to come and visit your store to be able to park. Let me go a little bit further. this is a map of the works that's going to be that are going to be happening in 2024. So you can see continuing the red. You can see the red areas here. This fish habitat restoration, and there's actually, I think, 6 bundles of projects that are going to be happening even farther down, as far down as ocean shores, and there will be a lot of digging. In fact, the government is, the federal government and the state is putting something like $1 billion into projects, these projects in the peninsula. So it's a challenge of moving traffic through to arrive at your business. But it's also a challenge of supporting the works that are going to be coming to the area. I heard an interesting program yesterday from, I think, Fluid Construction, who's in charge of all the fish habitat rehabilitation, and the amount of needs for the workers coming into the community is huge. They need to eat, they need to sleep, they need extra of everything. They need workers, and there's money available, going to be coming available if for the right situation. And it's good to be aware and alert for it, but also it's good to take a chance, to take an opportunity to benefit from it, because the workers are going to be here. Even if there are fewer tourists to be here, there are going to be workers here, and workers will buy. They will buy from you. And this is the blow up map of 2024. It's mostly fish habitat. Oops, let me see, go back here. It's mostly fish habitat, and there's 2 roundabouts that will be worked on in 2024. One right outside the bridge, the Hood Canal Bridge, and then right at the intersection that comes into Port Townsend on Highway 19, SR 19 and 104. Fish habitat again all over the place. So here's what they say about this roundabout that's right in front of us in Port Townsend, that it's going to be starting in spring of 2023. It's not started yet, and that it's expected to be done in May of 2023. So by the summer time, that roundabout should be completed. And they also say that each detour will be in effect for only a few days. And I don't know if you've seen any other roundabouts being constructed, but I'm not sure I ever saw one that was completed in a few days, but we'll keep our fingers crossed that that's actually going to happen. When it's finished, this is what the rendering will look like. So you can see here is the co-op, food co-op over here, and the regular light. They'll be taking out the light, which is this intersection here. And then these businesses will be back in order will right away, well, as soon as they finish the roundabout. Access for these businesses can still be, I guess, detoured in the side streets, and people can park along the side streets. And if you have businesses along here, you can direct people with signage to arrive to your location. Here's where it says the construction should be complete by May. So, we're dealing with the roundabout that's in Port Townsend, but also all the other construction projects along the line. How can this problem become an opportunity? And I want to really open this up as a discussion for all of us to think about. How can we turn this into an opportunity? But the first area I want to cover section would be teaching your potential buyers how to find you. So feel free to raise your hand or put a question or a comment in the chat, and Miko will
We
field
do
it.
have one question from Debbie.
Yes.
She's asking about permissions for signage, and if you have any insight about the rules about that.
I do not, but that's a very good question, and I think we can research and put some information on the EDC site. Probably because of the nature of the disruption of business, there'll be a lot of flexibility. I know city and county and town signage, the people who decide about that, you would have to get certain permits to be able to make that happen. Now that we're talking about this in March, it's a good idea to check with your zoning areas, and we'll do some investigation and put it up on your website for you, but we have time to look at that. So how else can you teach people who are on road diversions, detours, to find you?
Debbie says social media.
Yeah.
I work in social media, and I think if you are going to use social media, I think Debbie is, I think maybe Port Ludlow Inn is, I don't know if, but paid advertisements and reels are going to be the #1 way to be seen on social media.
Yeah, I am Celtic Crossroads Northwest.
Oh yeah,
So
yeah, and you do a lot of reels already.
yeah, Joe Gallegos is actually my major, amazing social media person who's also here. So
So when it,
Yeah, the way, SharonAnn, do you mind if I take a second to describe how that could work?
Go ahead.
So the on your reels, so Celtic Crossroads does make a lot of reels, and some of them are great. They're like really, I love them. It's really important to use hashtags in reels, and everybody, even if you're not operating right out of Port Townsend, you should use hashtag Port Townsend, because on reels, that's going to be the #1 way. You get a lot of young tech couples coming up from Seattle, and they're going to be like, what do we do in Port Townsend? Oh man, there's all, the Hood Canal Bridge is closed, and maybe they're driving all the way around. They're going to look at hashtag Port Townsend to see what there is to do in Port Townsend, because they all use Instagram. And then besides that, a very well targeted paid ad can get you thousands of views, and you can contact the EDC for more information about this, but targeting an ad geographically is extremely important, but that's going to be the most eyes on your content for your dollar spent, regardless of what kind of business you are. And you can contact the EDC if you want more advice on how to do that targeting. The targeting is super important. Thanks for.
yeah, just a quick question, if I could. Would it make sense to do it community-wide?
What do you
Where
mean by that?
have a campaign by Port Townsend. So instead of each individual company or store trying to put all this out, to do it as Port Townsend's.
Yes. There's got to be somebody going to round them up.
Well, we've got the EDC, we've got the chamber, and we got Main Street. So that would be, one thought as to how we might do that. But
Well, Jill, I'm going to butt in a little bit, just because we're talking about 3 sort of under-resourced organizations that have a mandate other than doing advertising for construction. So I think probably the best way to do it, and each business is going to have a different challenge. So for one, it might be parking. For another, it might be supply chain. For someone else, it might be, the lack of advanced bookings because the bridge is closed for 4 weekends. So I want to suggest that we consider each business and what their needs are and developing strategies for each of these businesses, and then tagging each other. If we can kind of do some collective marketing through sharing information and reposting things that other people are posting, we're going to create a stronger network that's not reliant on a small nonprofit to manage, but we're creating a community of support.
That's part of where we're going. Thank you, Cindy, for pointing that out. Part of where we're going is teaching your customers and clients how to find you is that space repetition. So it's not something you're going to do once starting now. It's something you're going to continue to do. And one thing I thought about is letting people know that you really, really care about them and you really, really want them to come to your store or your restaurant or your shop. You want them to come, and if they can look at the travel part of it as an adventure, then I think it's easy for them to understand that you really, really want them to come. So how do you show love to your client or your customer? How would you show love along with social media?
This is Debbie of Celtic Crossroads. I mean, one of the things that we can do, but it eats into profit, is be able to give discounts or giveaways and things like that. But again, it's tough when it potentially is eating into profit.
I thought about that and basically was advised not to suggest offering discounts because yes, it does eat into profits, and you're giving away the store when it's not necessary. I don't know that we can buy people to come. So
I have an idea.
yeah.
When you get a customer in your store and you've established like a good rapport with them, which I'm sure several of these businesses that are represented today is common. If they'll allow you to take a picture of them and you could put that on your website or on your social media and, talk about your engagement with this customer and how you're so excited that they came up or that they used your business while they were here. That would be an example of sharing the love, I think.
Yeah. People like to see real people, I think, doing things and in your work, in your business, eating or drinking or trying something on or just walking into your store. Yeah, people like to see people. Touch points have to do with the number of connections we have with our clients and customers. And the more people read about your work or your business in all places, touch points could be something like a press release to community newspaper. And I used to write for the Mukilteo Beacon, and they're always looking for articles. Almost every local newspaper is looking for articles, and it's pretty easy to make a press release saying, well, there's going to be an adventure out this month and coming our way. And just to let you know, here's the detour, the best way to get to the store, the business, or wherever you're located. Here's the best way to get here. And you can do a press release every month. That's nobody's going to stop you. And almost every local small newspaper needs to have filler. So your short press releases are going to, chances are they'll be making it into newspapers, even Seattle Times and the bigger newspapers. So that's and you can do that on email. The second thing is a lot of people are collecting email addresses of their clients and customers, and maybe irregularly you might reach out for a specific event, but touch points of communication of, hey, this is going to happen this weekend, and here's where you're going to park, and don't come on this weekend, come on that weekend, come on Tuesday, Wednesday, or something, suggest an alternative practice. But also, if you can link it to an event that's happening in the community, and I know there's a lot of events over the summer that happen in Port Townsend, in all of the Olympic Peninsula, actually, and linking what your information, your guidance is to your location, linking that to an event makes it, helps people understand that you care about their experience when they get here. You want them to have a nice adventure, a nice day, or a nice stay, and you care about them. So we've got, and then we mentioned social media, the same thing can hold true. Just a little post about this has happened, here's an event that's happening over the weekend, and by the way, here's where you park when you come and see us. Very, very helpful. So you look, it looks like you're putting your caring into action. You're caring about the experience people are having, not just bringing people to your store to buy your stuff. That's kind of all mixed in with the whole experience that people have when they come and visit. Does anyone have another or an additional idea for touch points?
I was thinking about kind of combining all of that and making a social media reel in which, so say like the front entrance of your store is no longer accessible because construction's happening there, or there's a new parking area that people need to park at, and a new pathway that those customers will need to take to get to your front door. You could make it fun, and of course, depending on signage rules, you could make it fun and interactive by putting signs that guide them there, and then release a reel that kind of shows this sort of fun, like almost Easter egg hunty experience, and then use that opportunity to express love. Like, it really means a lot when you support small business and create a maybe a seasonal hashtag for that project, that construction project that's happening, and attach your business to it so people they know to associate, oh yeah, this is happening and this is how I support that business through that time.
Good. I like that. Well, on touch points, it goes back to what Cindy is saying, is having businesses connect with each other as you're reaching out into your potential clients and customer base, sending a press release and then mentioning several of your businesses in the press release is really good marketing, because it's free. If a newspaper publishes your press release, it's free publicity. And so that would be another touch point, would be combining like kind businesses or businesses on the same block, and so you support each other. Same thing holds true with your using your hashtags and on Instagram, actually. Okay, the next thing, collaborations, that's where that's leading, is working together to get the word out. What I feel like is, if people, like Miko is saying, if people feel like they're helping small business, helping you as a business owner get through hard time, they'll be more likely to look at the adventure of it instead of focusing on the disruption of it, and keeping people in the know on a regular basis. So if this construction is going to be happening over a time, but especially as we work up and into summer, linking all of your connections, both with each other and with the events in the community, will help people want to come and will help them want to help. Like Miko is saying, help the community during this hard time. Now, it's not going to be like every single day is going to be a road mess. I don't want to leave you with that feeling, but it's a good opportunity to teach people how to get to you, no matter what happens in the road situation. Does that make sense? Yeah. So collaboration. So if you are sitting next to 5 people at the Chamber of Commerce meeting, I think it'd be cool to kind of collaborate between you, even if your businesses are far apart, get cards and emails and Instagram accounts and help each other post, cross post reels. I think reels are fun. You can make it fun, or you can make it challenging, or you can make it difficult, but anybody can do a reel, and the more real your reel is, the more real people see who you are, the better it is, the more attractive you are for people who are coming in. How else, now this is a question for the group, if you sell services or products, how else, what can people buy from you?
I had an idea for this. I don't know if Groupon is still a thing, but I know that was huge, and or just gift certificates. You know, anything that allows people to purchase online or in advance. I guess with Groupon, you know, you take a hit, the business takes a hit, but even if the Groupon rate is pretty high, it's still advertising, right? So maybe you're not offering at a discounted rate, but people are still seeing this ad as something they can purchase for the future.
Mm-hmm. Does anyone sell on Facebook? Well, Facebook has marketing page, and you can also sell on Instagram. You can sell items in your store and post them for sale. It's a process to learn to be a merchant online, but that is one option. What else? People can call you up and order something, and you can mail it to them. That's a pretty basic. I think probably buying options would have to come down for me if I had a business. I don't have a business brick and mortar in Port Townsend, but I think it would boil down to just really guiding people in to come not on the days that the Hood Canal is going to be closed, on those weekends, to make sure that they know that the Hood Canal is going to be closed, and to come in on a different day. That would keep your business going. And also buying options can be, we talk about directions and finding you. It will be crowded over the summer to try to go through the ferry from Whidbey Island over, but that is one option. Walking, you can walk on the ferry and then walk into town and make it an adventure. So a different way of getting here could be also a different way of buying your buying options. So I see online, face-to-face, online, possible using farmers markets, but that's a whole other marketing work that requires a huge amount of time and labor to get things to a farmer's market. Plus you have to apply to be in them. Does anyone else have an idea about how people can keep their business going during construction?
Well, I think we've got people from farming community and from the Port Ludlow Resort as well. So it's not all online sales oriented necessarily.
I do think it's worth, if you're going to buy ads, regardless of radio, print, press releases, or social media, to look at targeting Bellingham, Whidbey Island, Everett, because typically, I know I have targeted Seattle because it's the biggest market, but during the summer, you'll see walk-ons lined up to get over on the ferry. And you're right, it's kind of hard. You don't want to clog up that ferry, but maybe Port Ludlow and Chimacum, I don't know, maybe if you're going to advertise to those areas, it comes with like a transportation component. They need to also to be given advice on how to use the public transportation to get to those places, or if there's a shuttle. I don't know if Ludlow has a shuttle from Port Townsend at all.
Mhm. So it's education on how to get here in alternative ways. So also it's the whole thing, the whole 5 ideas, it's all about education and teaching your customers and your clients to think outside of their normal routine of getting in the car and coming over here on the roads. And looking at it as an adventure, because people can go anywhere really, but this is the most beautiful area in the country, really. I don't know why they would go somewhere else unless they were just bothered by the idea of being stuck in traffic. And so the whole idea, the whole purpose of turning this into an opportunity is helping people not to feel stuck in traffic, but just to feel like they're going on an adventure, and to have the adventure be worthwhile because you cared enough about them to help them understand what's happening, what are their choices, where should they park, how can they get somewhere, and happy to come, and you want them to come. So Diana, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, and just thinking of, so we're more of a destination. We're 6 miles from the Hood Canal Bridge, and they're going to be doing 2 roundabouts at both of our major intersections. So it's going to be a little bit challenging, but if you think about, these probably fit in multiple areas of the 5. For us, it is consistent communication throughout the Olympic Peninsula would be very helpful. So, hopefully everyone's saying along the same theme. Is there a package or is there an itinerary that suggests that people want to come for 3 nights when the Hood Canal's bridge is closed for those weekends? And it doesn't have to be discounted, but it could be something that gives people ideas of things they could do. So if we're coming to the resort, maybe there's a day of shopping in Port Townsend, or there's, I don't know if it's not whale watching, but whatever's happening in August, maybe there's some boating or fishing opportunities, and of course there's a day in Finn River, or there's a day to visit the farms. So maybe coming up with multiple things that people can do that isn't just contingent upon our brick and mortar, but maybe even saying, hey, start with us and then go to Port Townsend up to Port Angeles and go to Hurricane Ridge and spend a night there, and then go to Kalaloch for a night. So just really trying to think about that. And then another big thing that I think all of us businesses should push is shopping in your own backyard, or be a tourist in your own backyard. Because probably most of us on the Olympic Peninsula, sure, I've been to Port Townsend, but I haven't done the Discovery Walk parts yet. So maybe I could do something with that, or maybe if I haven't been on a farm tour with the resort, then maybe we can come here, do our farm tours, experience that. What does that entail? Go to Finn River, go to the farm stands, go to the farmer's market. So just thinking about how to get our residents that live here to travel, like Sequim or Port Angeles, to travel here, and vice versa. So we're spending a lot of time, we're working with Jefferson County Tourism Council. We've also talked to Olympic Peninsula Tourism Council. And again, just trying to come up with a consistent message so that we're all saying the same things as people are going to get stuck in lines. You know, they're going to be delayed. It's going to take them much longer to get from one location to another location. So just, you know, thinking along those lines, I appreciate the things that you've brought up. And those are interesting. And, you know, of course, we'll put those into our plan as we continue to try and develop, you know, how to survive the closed weekends and the additional traffics.
Thank you. I love that, those ideas where you connect and give people reasons and activities, suggestions, so they can know that they will enjoy 3 days or 4 days or a week on the peninsula rather than trying to run back and forth in one day. And I really think that making it an adventure and a true vacation can help, you know, all the lodging businesses like yours, or all the businesses and restaurants and anyone, the shopping day in Port Townsend. Wonderful idea. Thank you.
Diana, I like the fact that you've used the word plan a few times, and I hope that you can inspire other people in Ludlow, you know, maybe by sharing that plan, just to, you know, the benefits and thinking ahead and looking at your marketing strategy and how to be innovative during this time when we're going to be disrupted. I think that's inspiring. Thank you for leading the way.
Thank you. Yeah, we have a saying here that, you know, we have to, this is reality, and we have to figure out how to make it successful. And so, yeah, I think that's just the thought process. It's going to happen. There's nothing we can do about it.
Yes.
Yeah, and I have to say, in Ludlow, I've been aware, I have a small rowing shell, and there are times when I've been in the water when the rush hour was leaving Port Ludlow back to Seattle. A lot of power boats going by. So there may be alternative ways of people of getting there that could be expanded upon somehow. I don't know, but got such a unique and beautiful environment there. I don't imagine people will be staying away for long.
We're hoping.
Okay, so what we talked about today was teach people how to find you, and really, I mean, on a regular basis. I'm not saying send them a note or a post in April, and then 6 months later, I'm saying post a couple of times a week, where you can really share with people what's going on exactly, making it current, the current event. I don't mean like a news show, but the reels definitely catch people's attention. Teach people how to find you. Miko's idea of showing them, giving them a map or using a reel and walking from the new parking place into your store is a wonderful idea. Show some love by reaching out and teaching people what's going on and teaching them how they can work around it and think about coming and enjoying Port Townsend in the area, all of the area actually. The number of touch points have to do with the different kinds of touch points, like everything from press releases to social media to reels to email lists to newsletters, but also the frequency will help you keep your business active in people's minds. Collaborations, working together, and and the hashtags are help people understand all the things that are going on, for example, in Port Townsend or Ludlow or wherever you are, Port Angeles. Collaborations, working together, and then invite them to buy other ways. What we didn't mention is there are several Facebook pages that point out events like, hey, what's happening in Port Angeles, Port Townsend, and Sequim, and people in the big city like Seattle oftentimes look at those Facebook pages to see what's going on. So the more all of us are out there posting interesting things and linking fun events to share with people, you look like you're not just out there, you're out there to help the community, not just out there to help yourself. So that would be, I think, the best way to overcome the reality of the current situation. Government contracting, now I have, I'm going to post, Miko's going to post a link in the chat about government contracting, but with this $1 billion of construction projects that is expected over the next 5 years, people will be coming in. I mean, the construction work and all around the construction work, from wood to metal to cement to tools, landscaping. There's a huge opportunity, and they are mandated to hire workers and businesses and support businesses that are minority owned, women owned, disability owned, a variety of ownerships, types of businesses, local businesses, but they would like to spend as much money locally as possible, and we would like them to be able to do that. So if you have any kind of work like lodging or food, or landscaping or bed and breakfast, anything like this, you can reach out to the local, they're called Apex Accelerators. It's the group that helps you prepare for and obtain government contracts. So this can be huge for business owners, and depending on the business, but also what this means is that there's going to be more people living on the peninsula, and more people living on the peninsula means more people are going to be buying. So it's a huge opportunity also. Do you have any, I've basically shared with you everything I know about government contracting, and the government contracting expert will be put in the chat, and we'll share the slide deck with you. But do you have any questions?
The link for that I don't have. Is it the Apex Accelerators website, or is it a specific contracting?
Rebecca Miller is our connection.
Okay.
Yeah.
Rebecca Miller's with PTAC, and I can post her email in the chat in a second. So Procurement Technical Assistance Center.
That's Miko has, I gave it to Miko to post, and Rebecca, well, okay, so the PTAC new name is Apex Accelerator. Anyway, she'll post that. Yeah. Any other thoughts?
I just think it was brilliant that PTAC changed their name, because that was an awful name.
It is.
I want to put it out there that I'm helping the EDC, and with I kind of specialize in Instagram among other things, but I'm looking at the Port Ludlow Resort Instagram right now, and I have some ideas for you guys if you want to talk about that. And just about any business, you don't have to be a brick and mortar business to benefit from using Instagram. Reels, stories, and ads. If you don't want to put money into it, that's fine, but reels and stories are really going to get you seen more. And I can pretty much just take a quick look at your existing Instagram account and tell you a few tips of what you can do. So I put my email in the chat there if anybody wants to contact me.
Thank you, Kim.
I had an idea for collaborating too, like if you're in a cluster of businesses that's going to be impacted by a construction project, and say you're fortunate enough to be adjacent to, say, a cafe retail store or, other kinds of businesses, one of your social media posts can be a collaboration with those other businesses to show your customers why it's worth going through the effort of getting to your store. You can make a day out of it. You could get your nails done if you're near a nail salon or something like that. And so you're promoting those adjacent businesses, especially if it's going to take an additional, say, 10 minutes or whatnot to actually get there or find parking. And just kind of on that same theme, show your community some love.
Mhm. I was reading about the number one, or the reasons for putting roundabouts in communities or on roadways, safety improvement, of course, but that it actually impacted goal to the destination about 4 minutes. That's it. Even slowing down traffic. I'm not talking during construction time, but I mean when it's done. So it's not going to be, it's going to be beautiful. It will, all of them. So I want to thank you. Yes.
I was just going to add regarding Miko's suggestion on collaborating on social media, there is a feature there that allows you to collaborate more effectively. And if anyone doesn't know how to use that feature, that specific collaboration feature, then email me and I'll explain it.
So it helps you and the person that you're collaborating with, and the information goes out to both audiences. So your impact is even much bigger. And if you have 3 or 4 collaborators, it's even bigger than that. Huge.
Hey, Kim, do you want to do Resource Roundtable next month with some Instagram tips?
Yeah, sure.
I think that might be a nice follow-up since we'll be closer to the shutdowns and it's going to be on people's minds.
Yeah. Because it's hard to go in depth into it and into it here, so it takes at least an hour on its own. Yeah.
Is that something we could do on Zoom?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Okay, that'd be awesome.
It'd be a start anyway. Yeah, I'll post my information again.
Okay, thank you. And thank you, Cindy, and all of the EDC team who's here and supported us. Thank you, Miko. Thank you, Kim. Thank you, everyone, for coming.
And thank you, Sharon.
Yep, here's how to find me. I've got 2 offices and I get the most beautiful commute in the world, right? I get to drive along the coast in both directions and see the mountains and the water, and I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. Be glad to help you. If you want to reach out, send me an email. And thank you.
Thanks, SharonAnn.
Okay, signing off.
Yeah, thanks everybody. See you next month.